New Spectrum brings you insightful perspective on issues, events, happenings and incidents through news, views and interviews.
United States to end trade benefits for India in retaliation to India's export policy. Prime Minister Modi announces pension for unorganized sector at a speech in Gujarat. Indian Space Research Organization announces Young Scientist Program for students. Indian Navy to get nuclear attack submarine from Russia very soon.
Today my topic of analysis is about mutual funds and commodity derivatives. SEBI will be allowing mutual funds to trade in commodity derivatives. What is commodity derivatives? Commodity derivatives are commodities like gold, silver, platinum and other agriculture products like wheat which are traded on the stock exchange. Now coming back to your investment in mutual funds. The first step, if you invest your money in shares, then you will get a dividend and you will get a bonus. You have got a regular source of income every year through dividends and the market is less volatile. The risk factors concerned are less volatile. But on the other hand, if you were to invest in commodity derivatives, you will not get any bonus, no dividend. It's more a futuristic concept and then also the risk factors involved are very high as the market is very volatile. So I advise you to look at both the factors and choose the right option accordingly.
Recently, researchers have come across a 3D printed premium approach to convert piezoelectric material into different arbitrary forms, shapes, and internal microarchitecture.
Beauty with 3D printing is you could actually create these materials like Lego blocks. You pile them up to create an intelligent infrastructure that is not only impact absorbing, stiff and strong, but also they can self-sense impact any mechanical stress coming from any directions, anywhere, without attaching any sensors. This will change the way how we design and use sensors and actuators. You can print these smart materials into any custom shapes. For example, your wearables, your shoe insoles, rings, or any materials that have tailorable shapes. And these materials are smart and they can sense stress, monitor impact in any directions. So we envision this would be a path towards a new way of manufacturing sensors and actuators, moving from the clean room to desktop 3D printers. And in the future, we can custom print designed smart sensors and actuators inside of any materials.
Today I would like to discuss about global warming and renewable resources of energy. Environment, as we know, is a key to sustain life on Earth. Each year, there are many projections released by agencies and organizations that keep a tab on the factors affecting our environment. Global warming, I would like to define as the increase in the average surface temperature due to the harmful emissions by burning of fossil fuels, deforestation, emission of greenhouse gases, and many other gaseous emissions. When hydrocarbons, methane, and other greenhouse gases get re-radiated within the earth, the ozone layer is getting depleted, because of which there is a destruction of plant life on earth. This is affecting the climatic conditions on earth. Climatic conditions is a very important topic of international cooperation among top environmentalists in the world. Climate change is also dependent on Great Lakes like Arctic and the Antarctic. When Great Lakes like Arctic and Antarctic are facing this phenomena, they are turning into sheets of water, which is immensely affecting the climatic conditions. This is also resulting in the downfall of our climatic conditions. The only way to stop these immense climatic conditions is to adopt renewable sources of energy. These sources of energy like solar energy, wind energy, biogas, and many other elements are very important as they preserve our natural resources and are very beneficial to the future generation. For example, the solar energy is very important, which converts the sunlight into electricity. Solar panels can be installed at the top of our terraces, wherein they convert the sunlight into electricity by exciting the electrons in the silicon cells. This helps in the distribution of electricity in the whole house. When it comes to wind energy, windmills or the turbines have propellers which, when rotate, convert the wind energy into electricity, which is in turn connected to a generator supplying electricity to several households. The wind energy is also helpful in pumping water and grinding grain. When it comes to biogas plants, they absorb the harmful greenhouse gases and emit oxygen, which is very helpful for our environment. Biogas plants help in reducing the greenhouse gas emissions, which is very beneficial to our future generation. A very clear example of biogas is cow dung, which is helpful for cooking purposes in rural areas. Like this, there are many renewable sources of energy which we can adopt for a healthy and a safety future. To sum up, I would like to say that the oxygen levels are immensely decreasing because we are depriving ourselves by destroying the plants on earth. And what we don't require, carbon dioxide, is increasing day by day because of the excessive use of fossil fuels on earth. Hence, it is time that we adopt these renewable sources of energy for a happy and a better environment.
Today, I'm going to speak on how software codes impact cybersecurity. Software coding, as we know, is a very essential part of information technology, for it is through this coding that we develop products and applications that are useful to a user. Individual pieces of codes are first developed, and these pieces of code serve a certain functionality in the sense that they're given an input and they produce an output. When these pieces of code are then combined, they provide us with a set of functionality which forms into an application and is useful to a user. For instance, we regularly use an email application online which is designed to send and receive emails. While there are codes that are used to develop useful applications for users, there are also codes that are developed to harm a user's computer. And these codes run in different forms on a user's computer, laptop or a mobile. And when they run on a user's computer, they can alter a computer's operations or snoop into one's online activities, get information or install softwares without the user's knowledge or permission. The information gained by the above means can then be used to impersonate a user or for theft of data, money and sensitive information. These codes can also bring down systems, and there have been known instances of people using such information to trouble innocent people by emails or cyberstalking. There are a number of software products that are available online to address each of the above concerns, and these products solve the problem to a huge extent. Then again, the user also has to practice safe browsing, use strong usernames and password, and encrypt the data on his disks using software. For those of you who are wondering what such a piece of code might look like, here is a simple example. Try and think of a situation where you are browsing the internet and are required to enter information into the fields of a form and then submit that information. This information gets stored in a place called database, and the database will have a record of many such users. If the input entered in the fields is not verified for its exactness, an attacker might take advantage of this situation and use a piece of code like this or a similar one to gain private and confidential information from your database, or modify information in your database, or make the database unavailable. In the real world, however, coding is not as simple. There are several procedures that have to be followed while coding. There are design patterns that need to be applied. There are multiple layers in which an application is developed. There are configurations that need to be applied, and there are security specifications that need to be adhered to. A few other measures that can be used at the level of infrastructure to prevent such attacks are configuring and placing firewalls, using secure electronic transmission, encrypted tunneling, secure socket layer, and digital signatures. In most cases, the attackers are accomplished programmers who develop their own set of tools and use the tools that are available online. And here is where cyber security comes into the picture. With millions of users using the internet and the numbers growing each year, coupled with the fact that there is a growth in e-governance and e-commerce, cybersecurity has now become a necessity for the progress of information age.